Alright guys, day 2 of graphing lines. We're going to graph the line y equals negative 2/3 x minus 3. First thing I want to do is write down m and b using the equation. You know what m and b is. We know m is the number in front of the x, so m is negative 2/3. I'm going to write that as negative 2/3. And b is negative 3. Now on my graph paper here, I'm going to zoom it a little bit so I have a little more room. I know m and b are right there. So I always start with b, initial value, starting point. So negative 3 on our graph. So on our graph, I'm going to go with red and see how this is going to look here. We're going to start at negative 3. Right there. So our starting point, we know our line is going to go through that coordinate. And our rate of change is negative 2/3. Now negative 2/3, negative 2 means go down 2. And we're going to go to the right 3. There's a couple different ways of looking at it, and Mr. Wells is going to show you a different way in a minute. But I'm going to go down 2 and to the right 3 for this one. So from that starting point, I'm going to count down 2. 1, 2. And I'm going to count over to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to put my point right there. So I know my line is going to be going downhill this way. But I want more than just 2 points. I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to go down 2 again, 1, 2, and to the right 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to put my next point right here. And I can see that consistently that line is going to be going in the same direction, in the same rate of change at all times. So I can just take my line, the best that I can here, freehand, put arrows on both ends, because lines go on forever, continuously in both directions. There's my line. It goes through the y-intercept at negative 3. We're going down 2 to the right 3 consistently. But as you can see, we're also going up 2 and to the left 3. It's the exact same thing. And the last final step here is make sure you label your line. We're going to label this y equals negative 2/3 x minus 3. We call that giving it a name. I missed an x there somewhere. I did. There we go. Y equals negative 2/3 x minus 3.
Alright guys, for practice problem number 6, I like these because we already have it in the y equals mx plus b format. So that's all we really have to do to begin with is figure out what is our m and what is our b. And remember, our b is our beginning, it's where we start, and it looks like b is going to be negative 8. So I know on the y-axis I'm going to start at negative 8. Now for m, our slope is negative 3, and I always like to make slopes in terms of a fraction, because remember, slope is always rise over run. And I always like to rise. I always like to go positive on top, and then I do the negative on the bottom. That's just the way I like to do it. Alright, so let me zoom in to the graph and graph the line for you guys. Alright, so remember, b is our beginning, and so I want to count down 8. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's where I'm going to put my first dot. That's my beginning. And our slope is to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the left, because it's negative, 1. And I'll just continue that same pattern a couple more times. 1, 2, 3, to the left, 1. And I'll try to do this best I can freehand. I'll actually here, I'm kind of picky. I like to make sure that my line looks as best as it can. And you can see the same pattern, you know, just up 3 to the left 1. Because you notice I can't go down 3. That's the thing that's tricky, is I can't really go down 3 because there's no more lines here. But I can guesstimate that it'll probably be somewhere right about here, even though there is no line. So let me just draw my line real quick. You should be using a ruler. If yours looks anything like this, we will take off points because that is one ugly line. And then to finish it off, I'm going to label this as y equals negative 3x. You could have left it 3 over negative 1. You won't lose any points. And then minus 8.